All right, this is episode 35 of So Well Spoken. I'm Morris. Angelus is here with me.
Yo.
And we also have a guest. Mike is here to fill in for Slavin and DY and One Mike and Immortal and Devo. He's filling in for all the hosts of the show's past.
You made it sound much more prestigious than I thought it was. I'm like, okay, a little long line of hosts.
We run through them, man.
Thanks to Black Ace for the intro song that he made for us. Speaking of DY and Black Ace, the three of us are actually going to start a new podcast.
Yo, plugging your shit. I feel you.
We're doing a basketball podcast for Slayant.com. So that should be up around the time this goes up. Maybe a little bit after, but I'm sure I'll bring it up again. What else do we need to talk about before we get into things?
Dreams is still not back.
Dreams. I don't know if you ever actually listened to the show, but Dreams, you need to stop playing.
We miss you, fam.
Angelus hasn't seen you in the longest time.
I don't ever see him online. I'm like, I hope this dude's still alive, man.
And I gotta apologize for the how infrequent these podcasts have been. We got hit with Overwatch. We got overwatched.
Yeah, pretty bad.
And then I got married, so that's like a legitimate excuse.
Congrats.
Thanks. And then we got PokemonGo most recently.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Y'all have. I haven't. I've been fighting the power, man.
Dude, you got lift. Like, you're like the perfect guy to be playing the game, dude.
Dude was legit playing, like, talking to his home guy, like the most hood nigga I ever seen in my life. Talking about, yo, my nigga, you gotta get on this PokemonGo, man. For real, I got, like, Charmander right here. I'm just sitting there just like, bruh.
PokemonGo for the people, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not lying. It's addicting, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't get over that hump. Like, I want to play the actual game. I don't want to.
Oh, the game's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
The game itself is kind of shitty.
You don't want to do the combat. You just want to collect, trust me.
That's what I've heard, but I'm just like, I might as well just get Sun and Moon when it comes out this fall. So I'm just like, whatever.
I really thought for a split second you said Sailor Moon. I was like, Mike, where did that come from? I was like, well, this podcast is over. Shut it down.
Sailor Moon.
Mike's always been much more of a Sailor Moon kind of guy.
Like, delete all this shit. Delete all this shit.
Retract. Yeah, man, it's a phenomenon, man. People finding bodies and stuff, and
yeah, man.
like, yo,
it's bringing people together.
Bringing us together, and it's also killing a few people.
I'm not laughing at that.
That sounds par for the course. Like, chick died trying to, got in an accident. She didn't die, but she got in an accident because she's on Snapchat and then tried to sue Snapchat because she got in an accident. It's like, people do just...
I mean, that's just stupidity, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm not expecting
She
any
blames Snapchat, and it's like, how do you blame Snapchat for driving while using your Snapchat? Like, they didn't tell you to do that shit. Come on, use some fucking common sense, kids.
Yeah. That's what happens. Though I'm not surprised anything happens with the app. Like, literally had my mom say, like, you heard about that PokemonGo app? I'm like, yeah. Do you have it?
Dude, my mom plays it.
I was like,
understand that. My mom plays that shit.
Yeah. Too many people play it. It's like crazy.
Just joining the fad, man. Quit trying to be one of those edgy people who don't follow fads.
That's the thing,
yourself,
though.
Man.
That's the thing, though. I'm happy people are enjoying themselves. I don't knock it. I think it looks fun. Whatever. I just haven't been motivated to actually just download it because I don't really do apps on my phone anymore like that. It's like, other than social media, I just don't get on my phone to play any games or anything like that.
Wait till some fine girl talks to Mike. Like, I only talk to dudes who play PokemonGo.
Girl,
Mike's like, yo, I'm level 52.
Girl, I got my 3DS right here. What you talking about?
It's a good litmus test for a good boyfriend. Does he play PokemonGo?
It lets you know who really social or not, too, though. Like, other than just going out and just collecting, you get to really see how people interact. I've seen people just walk up and down Atlanta, like downtown, on their phones. Boom.
Yeah.
Just walking. I'm just like, yo, this thing is huge. Like, couples, friends. Like, it was a group. Like, it was like a legit, like, group of like 5 people just walking down the street. I'm like, jeez. Y'all are out and about today, man.
I filled up my car with some of my friends and we hit up the park.
Yeah, that's what we're about to do tomorrow, actually. It's just like, it's a thing, man.
I mean, it's kind of just like, it's a good excuse just to go places.
Yeah, really, it is.
Seen restaurants try to set up ads and stuff like, hey, if you want to...
Yeah, like we find shit that we even know exists. Like, oh shit, what is this place? 10% discount if you Team Mystic. Okay, yeah, I'm here. I'm here for this.
Yo, like, but what's with all like the gyms and stuff being at churches though?
Yeah, they did it on purpose because they said they needed the Pokestops to be somewhere that's easily accessible for anybody. And you can stand outside without getting in trouble. Basically, a church.
So they're not trying to.
It's kind of creepy to me though.
They're not trying to convert people. They're not trying to convert people and stuff, right?
Like I don't believe in anything. There's a reason. Pokemon's not changing that shit. Like stop it, yo.
They got in touch with the churches across America. Like, hey, we got this thing coming out. You know,
I mean, it's not even really fair though when you think about it, because people in the South got such a huge advantage, man. It's like a church every 4 feet.
Yeah,
it's like
legit like that.
There's a church, right? I mean, I don't really give a shit about people's religion, really.
Yeah.
But I do hate the 2 churches next to my house. Because there's one right on the corner that's a Catholic church that's like Mexican as fuck. And so they're there, like, so like when the weekend comes, they're there like all weekend at night. Like they do night mass.
Okay.
I
And then
like to preface that Moris is Mexican.
and then across the street from that is this big ass white people church. And so like all the white people go there in the morning, like Sunday, Saturday mornings. And so the
you
parking,
hear the word 24/7.
Yeah, there's like, yeah, on the weekend it's nonstop, no parking, hard as fuck to get out of to turn onto the main street. You can't see, like it blocks you from seeing oncoming traffic. So
damn,
God's trying to kill me out here. Is what I'm trying to say. But that's like my only connection to religion is that the parking's fucking me up.
Yeah, I mean, Sundays, I try not to leave the house because, like, this one road that I'm on, there's, like, shit, like, I'm, like, dead serious when I say there's, like, 8 churches on this one road. I'm just, like, and they park on the side of the street. I'm just, like, dude, fucking kill me right now. Like, I'm not leaving the house today. I'm just going to sit at home, watch TV, and just fuck it until they get out of church. And, like, they get police escorts. It's really weird. Like, police direct traffic. I'm like, are y'all serious, man? Like,
the traffic's terrible, man. They got to. They have to have people out there because the traffic. People don't know how to drive, so it's like
That's true,
you gotta have people out there, especially in Atlanta. Gosh, people do not know how to drive. I've been stuck in church traffic for like a good 15, 20 minutes because people don't know how to go and let people go. Like, you just got out of church and you can't let me get by. Like,
yeah, it's not what the Lord would want. Let me go. Like, dang.
Like, stop being rude.
There's a Jehovah's Witness church around here too. So like, not only is it the parking and traffic really shitty all weekend because of those 2 churches, but there's also like people coming to your house trying to convert you like every other weekend.
Dude, man, I love when they come to my house because, like, every time they come, I tell them I'm a part of another religion. Like, I keep changing each time.
Have you gotten the same people twice?
Not yet. Like, sometimes I'm Buddhist, sometimes I'm Muslim. I just keep making shit up each time they come to me. And they're like, well, what do you believe about Satan and God? I was like, oh, they're pretty cool people. Like, I never cared.
They don't bother me none.
Jeez.
And, like, they just keep coming back. And they're like, can I come back? I'm like, sure. Like, I'm just going to tell you the same shit over and over again. But they always try to ask to come in. I'm like, nah, man.
Dang,
you're going too far.
Intrusive.
Yeah, it's just like, you're going too far now, fam. Like, I was with you when you were at my front door.
Were you?
Now you're trying to enter my personal space.
Do they not have Jehovah's Witness out in Atlanta where you are?
They do, but they're not that intrusive. Like, I literally
Really?
like
Must
be like,
nice.
I'm not interested. Like, okay, have a good day, and he gone. Like, that's it. And then I've ever had, well, can we come in? Like, the worst I probably got, like, these 3 white guys when I used to work at Walgreens or whatever, and they were like, oh, yeah, man, so you go to church or whatever? I'm like, dude, I'm working. Like, that's the first.
You gotta talk to everyone, though, man.
That's like the first. And then, it made it worse. He's like, man, you're like a basketball player. And I sat there for a minute like, yo. I sat there for a minute like, bruh, really? But you know.
Were they Mormon?
They were definitely Jehovah's Witness. Definitely.
Because I was going to say Mormon dudes hoop.
Yeah, I've seen some videos. They can ball, yo. Don't get cocky. They'll fucking destroy you.
They pray and they work on those fundamentals. That's all they do.
Get crossed up by a Mormon, your whole life is just shook.
Like that kid or whatever. I got shook by that dude, that teacher or whatever.
Yeah, it would be like that. Your face is on the ground, just fucked up. Fucking take your soul, yo. He's like, well, guess I'm going to church.
Gotta go. Get that sanctimonious saving over there.
I need to get saved because this kid just crossed me the fuck up.
And I thought like the community, like, you know, the church had like little like recreation centers or whatever, and they're big enough and stuff. I thought those were serious, but
dude. I mean, actually, the funny thing is like I was in Georgia some time ago, visiting some friends of mine. I was in Duluth though, but like I went to this Chinese church. That shit was huge as hell.
Chinese church, like literally, like
yeah,
straight Chinese people, like no white pastor.
Yeah, there's only one other black dude there. Like we looked at each other and it was just like head shake. Just like, I see you, you see me. But he was with his wife. His wife was Chinese. I was just with my friends. Okay. But like, yo, they had a full court in the backyard. I was like, what the hell? I was like, this is crazy. And so like we all played a game. Yo, they were good. I was like, damn, man, I'm getting crossed up left and right by like fucking 15-year-olds. I need to just stop for the while. Like, I'm done with basketball.
Now that I think about it, churches in general kind of do hoop a lot.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was a part of a Korean church, and they used to have like basketball tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Koreans are really huge on basketball in some places, man. Like a couple of my friends, like they used to be part of the Asian Olympic Games. Like they tried to get me into it. I was like, dude, just say that you're half Korean. I was like, pretty sure this is cheating, and you're a little bit racist right now. But like, yeah, man, like Koreans are really big into it. Like I used to go to my friend's church for fun because like they gave me free food, so I was like, yeah, I'm going. And so like we always play basketball. Bro, if you got food, you can make me go to anything, man. Seriously.
All right, so let's get into the topics now. Let's get sad.
I was having a good day so far. Go ahead, Morris.
All right, the first one I have on here is the shooting in Dallas.
Right, it did happen. Yeah.
There was a Black Lives Matter protest in response to the two, I guess, murders is what you would call them. Yes,
they were murders.
Two black men were killed, and there was a Black Lives Matter protest in response to that in Dallas, where a man opened fire on police and protesters. I don't offhand remember the dude's name who did it.
Mike Johnson.
Oh, okay. Because like every time they show like different people, I was getting like a whole bunch of different images every time I looked up. So I just figured at first like I thought it was like some crazy white dude at first, you know. And then it's like a black guy. I'm like, okay.
I was praying that it was a white guy. No, like I'm not trying to be funny, but
yeah,
I was really praying it was a white guy. Because I was like, well, if it's a white dude, you know, America would just feel like, oh, he's got mental issues, and we'll go to the, you know, that'll be it. But if he's black, and then all of a sudden it's going to be Black Lives Matter is like this problematic group, you know, words are killing people, and it's like amazing how words kill but guns don't.
So, and end up distracting away from the actual conversation that needed to be had, you know. And, and just, I was just heartbroken that day. I was like, I can't take this week anymore. It was.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed out. I was just like, I can't do this, man.
I think everybody I talked to was bummed out. Like, people that don't usually talk about stuff like that, you know, it just kind of just. That's probably not their area of expertise to talk about because, you know, probably hits on them too hard. Even they were just like, I can't believe I'm just shook. Like, my grandma was shook, and I was like, oh, God. I was like, man.
I called all of my friends just to check on them. I was just like, yo, y'all all right? Like, because it was just crazy how, like, it happened, like, back to back to back. And it was just like, man, like.
And that's just how it's going to happen. I mean, because we've had over 500 Americans killed by police so far halfway through the year.
Unfortunately.
So, I mean, it's just a matter. It's probably going to happen again before the year is over where there's video of people being killed by the police.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to go through the cycle again. I mean, we maybe not every episode, but most of the episodes we talk about someone who was killed by the police. Like the most recent police murder. So, I mean, it's terrible, and it feels like exhausting having to talk about it and think about it, knowing that there's not going to be a whole lot done.
I mean, me personally, I'm just getting tired of just arguing with white people about how, you know, like, number one, like, nobody deserves to fucking die because they, you know, look a certain way or they dress a certain way. But, like, I get tired of arguing with white people about that shit. And it's just, like, it's exhausting. And then, like, it's always this narrative that, oh, it's up to the minorities to teach us. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, you don't have that fucking internet? You don't have that shit? Like, do your own research, ho.
Not even that. You don't have basic empathy just to just be like, yo, people are
That's
getting killed.
yeah.
It's like what Trevor Noah said, why isn't the video enough? It's like, yo, it's right here. Like, why do you have to come up with excuses every single time this happens? It just doesn't make sense.
And only for black people, though. And
right.
It's like for instance, right, Dylan Noble, he was just a white kid who was killed by the police. You know, and White Lives Matter is always somehow, you know, well, all lives matter, not white lives, but basically the same thing.
Right.
And it's like you didn't hear shit from them when that boy was killed. The only reason why anybody even knew about it was because Black Lives Matter brought that shit up.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm tired. Like, I'm happy that it was brought up, but it's like I'm just tired of like fucking jumping through hoops and shit to like fucking appease these fucking racist people, man. It's just like,
yeah. What's crazy about that Dylan Noble situation is there were people there representing Black Lives Matter protesting his death, and at the same protest there were people with like Confederate flags, and they were still like, all right, that's fucked up, but you know, this guy shouldn't have been killed by the police. Yeah. And I mean, personally, I don't know if I could like compartmentalize like that and continue like protesting when people are like waving Confederate flags.
Yeah, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, like, okay, maybe I gotta go. Like, this shouldn't happen, but I don't feel safe here anymore.
Exactly.
And the crazy part is that Dylan Noble, he was actually a all lives matter type person. Like, that's what he believed in. He was like really big on the Confederate flag as well. So it's just like, it's amazing how, like, I don't want to say he's scum because he's just a kid, but you know, somebody with like a really shitty outview on life, you know, we still stick up for them, you know. And it's like these people screaming about all lives matter. It's like, well, where are you when one of your own is killed? You know, it's like you're always complaining about black on black crime, which is basically just deflection. What about white on white crime? You know, like what happens? Like, where are you at when a white person is, you know, murdered for no reason by the police? You're like fucking silent as shit. And it's like, so, you know, don't get on us about being silent on black crime, which number one, we're fucking not.
Never.
Communities all over, like black communities all over America are always fucking putting in work trying to fix their community and make it better and get rid of the crime in there. So it's just like, so I hate when, like, number one, I hate when freaking white people say that shit, and I definitely hate when black people say that shit. It's like, because you have no excuse as a black person to be saying that kind of bullshit, man.
I think, I mean, I'm kind of assuming from the perspective of a white person. I think as a white person, when you see someone murdered by the police unjustly, I think it's easier to let it go because it's such an anomaly. Like, the odds of you being pulled over aren't that great. And then the odds of you being treated poorly by the police aren't that great. And then, so, you know, it's just like, it's easy to remove themselves from the situation. Like, well, that ain't me. And it's probably never going to be me, so who cares? Yeah. Whereas people of color, you know, you see Trayvon Martin, you're like, oh shit, that could have been my brother, my cousin, my neighbor. Like, it just means more because the people who are being hurt by this, by and large, look like the people in your life.
Yeah.
So when it's like some dude every now and then gets killed by the police, it's just kind of like some back page, well, that sucks kind of story. Whereas, you know, basically every week there's a black man being killed by the police when, like, they're not even doing anything. Like, they're straight up, like, complying and being murdered. Like, these police are freaking out like they're dealing with, like, monsters, basically. Like, they don't know how to act when they have to interact with black men. So it's easy, I could see from their perspective, like, oh, this kid was killed by the police. It shouldn't have happened, but, you know, it makes up such a small amount of these police murders that it's easy to just like, they ain't gonna happen to us. Yeah. And just go about your day.
Unfortunately. But I mean, they show the same type of apathy and empathy, apathy towards like mass shootings, though. No shit's happen all the time. Like, holy fuck. It's just amazing how people, like, if it doesn't affect them directly, you know, it's just like, oh, well, you know, I don't care. You know, it's just like, that must be nice to, you know, not really, but, you know, it must be nice to be able to think like that and live like that.
Yeah. I think, I think with a lot of white people, it's kind of like this natural leave it to beaver kind of syndrome when it comes to life almost. Not saying all white people, of course. I'm not going to generalize. Haha. But
I will.
But I think it's for like most middle class white people, and I'm talking, and even for some lower class poor white trash or whatever. I think they just had this Leave It to Beaver mindset where they're just in this bubble where nothing can go wrong, and when something does go wrong, their mind can't comprehend it and it can't register it for some reason, and I don't know how they get to this mindset. I guess being that privilege is that strong or whatever.
It's the just world fallacy, man.
Yeah. It's like, because even as a black man, I have my own set of privileges, but all this oppressive stuff doesn't allow me to just really just enjoy the privilege like say like a white male can. It's like, yeah, I'm a man or whatever, and our black women get treated like dirt or whatever, but I really can't enjoy that privilege because so much other stuff goes into the like black oppression that I just can't visibly look at myself like, oh yeah, I'm privileged, but yeah, I can't really enjoy it because I see I know I'm aware of the fact that the black women are also getting oppressed too, and I'm just like, I can't act on that. I can't enjoy my privilege or whatever. I think I said this like on a Tumblr post, something like that. You really can't enjoy, if you're aware that you're being oppressed, you cannot enjoy your privilege or whatever. White people, they have no oppression usually. Like, this person tried to bring up like economic depression for like poor whites or whatever, but they're so far gone when it comes to their like racism and stuff like that. Then I don't really consider them aware. But they usually, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I know I'm like going like in
no, I understand
theory.
What you're saying.
Yeah, it's like when you're oppressed and privileged at the same time, you really can't enjoy it. It's hard. It's hard to.
I was gonna say that how Mike was saying how white people can just go about their day and think the world's still just. I think a lot of that has to do with just how our society is built, how people are programmed. Where if you watch American television, even if you watch some of our news channels, the message you get is that black people, black men especially, are dangerous and they commit a lot of crime. And if you ask the average person these stats, they will 100% bring up black on black crime because that's just what TV tells them. So when you see this group of people who you believe to be more dangerous than everyone else being killed by the police, the people who you think can do no wrong and are here to protect you, they're protecting you from these people that you think are dangerous. So it's kind of like, okay, this is the way I was taught how society works. So like, it's not a huge deal when instead of going to jail, he's sent to an early grave. And it's really fucked up, but that it's this education that isn't occurring in most Americans. And it goes beyond kids. I think a lot of adults don't know any better either.
I'll probably say it's mostly adults who are basically teaching it to their kids, man. They're in a bubble that is reinforced by American society at large. They don't really have a reason or feel a reason to step outside of that bubble because the rest of America is agreeing with their confirmation bias that's been instilled in them through TV and other media. Challenging that for a lot of them is just like, what's the point? There is no reason for me to challenge this because all of America is saying this, so it must be right. I doubt all of America would be saying this, that this is wrong. So they just stay in that bubble, man. It's like, it's comfortable there. Challenging your preconceived notions it's hard. And like last time we recorded this, Mike said at one point, and I've gone through the same thing when it comes to how we view women, like challenging your preconceived notions of things around you. It's hard and it takes work. So yeah, for a lot of white people, it is just ignorance about the world around them. It's not like flat out racism, but there is a group, a pretty big group, where it's just basically, it's just like flat out old school, no preservatives added, 100% pure grain racism.
Yeah.
Mike touched on them briefly. They feel like they're oppressed too, but I mean, their quote unquote oppression is their own doing. They vote against their own interests to screw everybody else. They vote against the food stamps and things that they rely on themselves because the narrative has been painted that we as black people, we consume them the most. It's very small shit like that adds up to the big picture of this idea that minorities are these really dangerous people who are trying to destroy American way of life. If you think about it, Megyn Kelly, on TV, she said, don't paint with a broad brush, which has always been funny as a minority to hear that because that's what we are always painted as. One Muslim, who happens to be Muslim kills like a group of people, all Muslims are bad. One black person does something, all black people are bad. One Hispanic person does something bad, all Hispanics are bad. But when it comes to them, it's like, don't paint us with this broad brush because that's not fair to us. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, D.L. Hughley was like, wow. when he saw that,
That's why I was going with that. Yeah, he's just like, wow. Don't wow me.
And I think we probably inadvertently generalize white people, especially on the show, a lot.
Yeah, we do.
You're gonna do that. To any group of people, you're gonna just generalize. You just gotta know when to kind of hold back a little bit on it. This is recognized that not everybody's the same, but generally there's a general consensus almost.
And a big part of problems that we have today are systemic racism and not,
overt.
Yeah, the overt, like where the sheriff is like the grand wizard of the KKK and he's like out and about it. That's not the kind of racism we're really dealing with today. Often.
Well, if you're in the South,
But it needs to be understood that those people that, that sheriff, that racist sheriff, he helped build the system that is being perpetuated today.
Yeah.
There was those officers on the news coming out about the quota systems that they have in their police departments. Yeah. And how they meet their arrest quotas. They're like, well, of course, if you have an arrest quota, you're going to go to the most vulnerable people in your city. You're going to go to the people who can't afford representation, the people who have no connections.
Yeah.
And you're going to give it to people where the charges are going to stick. Like, so you go to the brown and black communities, you go to the LGBT communities, and you hit them with bullshit fines and arrests. Because if you go to fucking Manhattan and you arrest the wrong person, maybe that's your job. But it could also be they just talk their way out of it. They get a good lawyer and then you're not meeting your quota. So it's not even worth the risk to fuck with these people like you fuck with these unprotected, vulnerable communities.
Right.
And so these people, these police officers who are abiding by these quota systems, they don't necessarily think overtly racist ways. It's just the system that's instilled there forces them to do these things that creates problems for certain races more than others. There's also like I was saying, the for-profit prisons. They make the most money when they're at capacity. So you need those filled. The for-profit prison system isn't itself racist per se. It's racist because it's easy. That's the easiest way to keep prisons filled. So you have prisons that rely on being filled, and then you have police departments that have police officers who rely on quotas to keep their jobs. And the only way, the best way to keep those quotas is to go after the most vulnerable people in your community. And that by and large tends to be the black and brown communities. And so you have this system that's really fucked up towards certain races. And it doesn't mean that the people who are keeping these systems alive are themselves racist. It's just they're okay with these systems existing. And that's not like an indictment on white people in general, because
it's a lot of black cops that do it. It's a lot of Hispanic cops that do it. Didn't like an Asian cop kill someone in New York?
Peter Lane.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even as civilians, we may not have that much power, the combined forces of people of color in America, but it's not hard to find black or Hispanic or Asian people who are more or less okay with how the country is run right now.
Yeah, they're called Republicans.
I mean, the point I'm just trying to make is the system is racist. So when people are talking about racism, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's people out there like trying to literally like extinguish and exterminate a race of people. It's just they're perpetuating a system that overwhelmingly hurts certain people in our society.
Yep. Well said, Morris. Well said. So well spoken.
SoWellSpoken.com.
That you basically nailed it on the head, man. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add to that.
What makes me sad is kind of like these cops are they're kind of being screwed over themselves because they have to do this. So it kind of ingrains it into their heads that, oh, these sort of people do this kind of thing, So it in a way it turns them into that. Because they have to do that so they can keep their jobs and do their money. It's like, it's screwing over a lot of people.
Yeah, it's unfair to them.
Yeah, it's screwing over people in general, but they don't see that because, hey, this is how it is. People just just do it because, oh, that's how it is, when that's not always the case. You don't just do things because of how it is.
As if getting a certain number of arrests is an indication of how good a police officer you are.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. That logic is, I feel like that's almost human nature, almost, in a way, that we just follow, algorithms and designs or whatever and not really question them. But I think it's always...
Well, it's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy because you sign up, you get plugged in, and then you just go about your business. You mark off your checklist.
Right. I mean, it's mad easy. It just, like Angela said, it's so easy to do that, but the challenge is always questioning preconceived notions and like wondering, what am I doing is right? But it's mad easy to kind of, I think as humans, to just kind of like just justify almost anything we do. Because I do some stuff like, I just did that because, whatever, I feel like doing it. But,
like, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. I've heard so many women tell me like, oh, that's how I am. I'm like, no. What do you mean that's just how you are? If you're not going to accept me, I'm like, okay, no, I'll do it myself. It's very human of us to do that, but there needs to come a time in everyone's life where we just question everything we do. You don't have to go conspiracy level with it, not necessarily, but...
Oh, please don't go Hotep with it. Oh, God.
Did you hear that DeRay McKesson is actually a CIA agent?
It was all a plant, guys. It's just to divide the fucking black community.
I love the wording that he was a part of an openly CIA like agenda or something like that.
Openly
like
CIA.
The CIA is just like faxing everyone their fucking plans.
Yeah, like I actually really hate like completely like side topic, but we're talking about DeRay. But it's like I really hate what I've been seeing on Twitter with like so many people who I guess they suddenly learned that he's gay, and it's like
I had no idea, and I didn't really care.
Yeah, like they had no idea. But like now all of a sudden it's like, oh God, we can't have DeRay, representing us, can't have a gay man representing us. We need real men, and it's like what?
Oh.
Like, okay.
What does that even mean?
I have no clue, but like I've been seeing it all over like Facebook and Twitter. I'm just like, what the hell does this even mean? Like number one, like he's a gay black man, so he's like next to black women, he's like the most hated thing in America.
Right.
And it's like he's fighting for your rights as a straight black male. It's like, and you're basically saying that he's not good enough. Like, oh fuck, bro. Like, please shut up. Just stop talking.
The homophobia
forever.
that the black community just came out in the uproar right there, and it's like, here we go with that. That's another thing we have to deal with,
That's that whole thing by itself is so annoying because it's like yes, like the black community is homophobic, but it's like we're not the only community that is. But for some reason, we get like the
labeled
media has painted us as like the most homophobic group of people in the world.
Yeah.
Like remember Prop 8, and it's like they blame the black vote for the reason why it didn't pass in California, and it's like, dude, like the statistics came out. We only made up like 6% of the fucking vote. We were like, what?
So who made up the majority of the vote?
White people. Not trying to be funny. Like, I'm not trying to be racist when I say that. But yeah, white people made up the majority of the vote, and majority of them said no. And this is like, but we got blamed for it. And just like, it was a narrative that stuck. And I'm like, what the hell?
Speaking of voting numbers, Donald Trump, as Angelus brought up before we started recording, Donald Trump is polling at 0% of the black vote right now.
Yep, in Ohio and I can't remember the other one, but yeah, 0%. And to put in perspective, Mitt Romney got 7.
Yo, Cleveland winning the finals, like made everybody's like, nah, bro, we good. We need LeBron, nah, we good.
We got this guy. We don't need you, Trump. We got LeBron. We got a ring.
We good.
Yeah, I mean that's really crazy. Well, not really. I mean, I expected something like that anyway because it's like his rhetoric is just like it was too much, man. Like he said damning things about basically everybody not white and male, and it's just like we were like black people heard it in those states where they were like, nah, man, we're not for this. Like you fucked up when even black Republicans were like, we're not gonna vote for you. Like. You couldn't even secure like the black Republican vote, like, dude. Holy shit!
Can I snatch up Herman Cain real quick? Nah. Oh god. I think he was actually in Georgia though. Now that I think about it, Herman Cain was in Georgia with Trump, as a matter of fact, which made me throw up.
I like how Hillary is like on pace to get Obama numbers in the black community.
Right.
And no one's gonna say, oh, they're just voting for her. Wait, okay. Well, it's not because she's black.
I wonder why.
Why are they voting for her?
Yeah. Like I said, like when it comes to the whole vote thing, like I'm not voting for Hillary. I'm voting against Trump. That's all I'm saying.
I honestly put people that don't get that logic. It bothers me so much. Like, yo, put your salt behind because Bernie lost. Okay, just stop. We vote for one thing. Don't be writing in nobody's name, writing yourself in the polls, or writing Bernie into the
Jill
polls.
Stein.
It's like, yo, stop. Don't split the vote or whatever. Just go in there, vote Hillary, then hope everything be alright with Hillary's and all that. That's like it. That's all I have to worry about.
Like when it comes to like the idea of voting, like that is like a white privilege that people like. Really? It annoys me when I hear people talk about it. Like, oh, I can't vote with my best conscience for this person, like, or they don't fully represent me, and like I just roll my eyes and like, dude, man, this is so much white privilege being pushed in my face. I just kind of want to punch you right now because it's like never in the history of this country have black people, I mean, you can say maybe Obama, but have black people or any minority really had a person that who truly represented them like 100% and like they agree with all of their policies. So it's like, oh my God, the one time you don't, like you're just going to throw a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like there's like certain things I don't really get annoyed at when I see like, privilege on display. That's this one which is like triggering me, man. You motherfuckers are so serious right now with this bullshit. Number one, like you not voting for Hillary, but you're voting for Trump out of spite. It also means that you are voting to get regressive, very, very, very conservative Supreme Court judges, which will fuck us for like years upon years upon years,
like the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you're doing it just because
you want to see the establishment must burn. I'm like,
yeah,
it bothers me so much. I think the people that spout that anti-establishment rhetoric, even with Bernie Sanders, they don't realize that doing that resets everybody back. And like, it's so hard to have a revolution in this day and age since everybody's connected. That it's like, you know how with the Brexit situation, like stocks went down just simply because Brady was like, nah, we good, we gonna leave the union. People don't realize that if the United States did anything near economic that big or whatever, that it just completely just tears out everything. And I don't think people realize what that entails. Like, revolution's cool, but then when you going through it, it ain't gonna feel too cool. Ask France. The way they went through. It's like, it's not cool, dog. Americans barely scraped by with their revolution. Plenty of countries that had revolutions, whether they be good or bad. Even like the Soviet Union had a revolution, and they ended up worse than what they started off with. So it's kind of like you don't really know what you're asking for until you actually go through it. And then it's also coming from a place of selfishness too, I think, because a lot of we're so concerned about our lives that we're not concerned about the people coming after us. And that's not setting up anything good for the people that's really just coming after us. As much as I would like all this stuff to tear down, I think that that's almost too much at one time. That we really couldn't regroup ourselves to just fix or whatever. I don't know. I'm just like anti-anarchy in general, so that's just how I roll. But it's just like I don't see how you can go any anti-establishment. Period, because we're too. It's not like we're living in like the 1950s where we can isolate ourselves or whatever, and we'll come off somewhat okay. You can't do that anymore. You have to have like a worldwide disconnect, and nobody's like that anymore. And I think that's what a lot of those white voters think, or whatever. The black people that think that too, that just comes from stress and oppression and people that's upset at this current situation and think that's worth it. And both for the most part I agree with them. I just can't jump on that taking my vote away simply because bringing it in and you're black. It's like, nah, bruh. Come on, bruh. I've seen way too many posts about black people taking their vote away too, and it's like, it's kind of sad to see that, because it's like, no. I get that you're upset, I understand, but take away the salt. Let's think about this. This is vote blue this one time. Maybe next election, but not this time. No, don't do it.
Trump, I was going to say, I guess under President Trump, their lives wouldn't be so different. I think that's obviously a big part of the white support.
How can you even say that?
White male support.
How can you even think that your life wouldn't be different? under its own.
If you're white, it would be, but not comparative to everybody else.
True.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, the worst that's going to happen to them, the economy's going to probably take a hit. There's going to be a lot of stupid spending.
Right.
And so, like, shit like that, but, they're not going to be worried about their family being rounded up.
Yeah.
And even when I think about it, Trump isn't even anti-establishment. He is the establishment. Like, how do you even go through those loops? He's big business.
Well, that's their thing. He wasn't a born and raised politician. He just happened to hop in and become a contender for presidency, which is so sad to say. Like, wow. So to them, it's like, because he wasn't a career politician, he's anti-establishment.
Man, I'm pissed that we even have to talk about Trump being a possible president.
I ain't even thinking about it. I'm so done with this election cycle, dog. I just want to be done with it. I could take Romney and Obama like 2012. I was like, cool, whatever. Beezy got this. Now I'm just like, oh my god, I'm scared for my life. I don't want to think.
If Romney was president, like, oh man, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's like
But like Donald Trump becomes president, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through the end of the month.
Right. That's how scary it is, man. It's like, what happened in the last 4 years for this to even happen? Well, Obama's presidency, other than that, but it's like, I never thought the GOP imploding like it is right now would be so scary. I'm thinking like, yes, they're imploding. They got to regroup. Maybe we can get a better political system out of the scraps. And now where it's like 10 times worse. And like I said, that's the whole thing about revolution. It's like, you never know what you get out of the result. It's like, yeah, it's imploding, but look at what direction it's going. It's like,
Yeah, the GOP went further right.
Yeah.
And so now that gives Democratic candidates wiggle room to go moderate.
True, yeah. And that's probably the best thing about Bernie Sanders even being in the race too, is that it kept it as left as possible. We don't know if Hillary's gonna go back or forth during debates and stuff, but I mean, there's some like gleaming lights in there somewhere, I guess. Hopefully.
Yeah. So one thing I did like appreciate about Bernie is that he pulled Hillary to the left and made her take a stand on issues that she was not wanting to talk about before.
Yeah.
Like she straight up just did not address a bunch of shit before Bernie kind of forced her hand.
Yeah. I mean, that's the political game, man. You gotta make sure you gotta play your opponent or whatever, and that's the game. I mean, I want to know how like England worked I just want to know, like, I just kind of want to be there just to see the decisions made, because I wonder how that even happened. Like, because
direct democracy, man.
Like, it's like, how?
They don't have representatives, dude. It's a direct democracy. So
right.
Everybody's vote actually does do something. It's just like, well, you guys have literally fucked yourselves. We can't, like, that'll never happen in America because we have a Republican representative democracy. So it's like, our votes matter, but it's like at the very end of the day, there has to be so much of them within a certain amount before anything even happens. So it's like something like that can't really happen over here.
But I think it's funny how people voted for Brexit.
Yeah, and they didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And then they were like, why didn't you tell us all of these fucking downsides before we voted?
We're not going to tell you that. Of course not.
Yeah, of course we're not. Like, what the hell?
Dude, the day after, when like people were like crying in the street and shit, and people, the people who voted for it, trying to act like they like didn't regret their decision.
Like, I didn't know what was actually going to win. It's like, I voted for fun. Like, holy shit.
That's definitely a privilege right there, dog. You just like, I'm just going to go vote for fun. Like, damn, you can do that? That sounds...
Honestly, like...
And Britain was acting America as fuck.
Yeah, like the Brexit thing was the only time I've ever been like, I'm so glad that we have a representative democracy, because holy shit.
Yeah, like the worst thing about it is that we have gridlock so much. Like, mad gridlock. But other than that, it's like...
I would be really scared if we had like a direct democracy, like, oh, fuck, yo.
Oh, no.
Texas is totally succeeding. Oh, shit.
I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing.
That really wouldn't, but I mean, it would like be a snowball effect. Texas is succeeding. Next thing you know, South Carolina's like, let's try this again.
Who?
South Carolina. They're like, let's try this again.
Yo, what's up with the Carolinas the last few months? They've both just been going back and forth, because North Carolina just signed a bill with talking about with the police cameras that they cannot release footage unless the court rules they can But it's the court rules that they can release the footage. So if someone gets shot in North Carolina, we're liable not to see unless somebody shoots it with their own phone.
Yep. And they say the reason why they did so was so that police are held accountable. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? That makes no sense. That's so backwards. And people are like, yo, that makes sense. I'm like, oh my God. I hate people so much. The whole thing with the shootings are just really, these shootings, especially like the southern states, are like being so aggressive on how they are reacting to them and stuff like that. Like the North Carolina ruling with the cameras makes no sense because it's like basically you're giving the police even more power.
Right.
You know, I forgot what state it was that signed that Blue Lives Matter crap, and it's just like, dude, like you basically just said that the police are now a protected minority group. And it's like, you choose to be a police officer. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, come on. You already get the harshest penalty you can get if you kill an officer. Like now you just gave them even more power to kill without any oversight, really, because it's like if anybody even fought back, you're fucked because you just attacked. It's a hate crime now. It's just like, well, damn, GG.
Yeah, I'm not sure why exactly they needed any more protection. I know being a cop is real hard, but assaulting a police officer is a really heavy charge, as is. And
all jobs matter. So I mean, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. What if I get attacked at work? I want them to go to
jail.
What?
You said that. Now that I think it, they don't think that either because people can't even get a boost on minimum wage. They don't think all jobs matter. They don't think all lives matter. Actually, it's like,
I mean, that's just what I say when I see Blue Lives Matter hashtag on Twitter.
Yeah, I know, but just think about it. It's like a bunch of hypocrisy that keeps going on and on and on. Like it even is it. I don't want to say it like this, but it kind of transcends race in a way. It's like, are you that sheltered that people can't even live off of like their jobs, whatever job it can be? But people also can't get a just trial or whatever and not get shot by the police. It's like, what kind of bubble do you live in that you just?
Oh no, man! It's very much steeped in racism.
God, it's like
totally
it's really interesting because I think most people, if they were to like have an open and honest conversation with the people in their lives, that they would see how many people are struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
But like our society's so materialistic, it's like shameful that you can't afford things, even though it's not really your fault because you're not being paid a living wage.
Right.
I mean, what the thing is like when is it FDR? Oh crap! I'm not sure if it was FDR who established the minimum wage.
Yeah.
New Deal. Yeah. Okay. So when he established it, like it's funny because everybody was like, "Yeah, this is great."
Because everybody was broke.
Yeah, that was the main thing. And it was like we saw like this economic, growth and stuff like that, and then like more Black people started entering the workforce, and slowly but surely people started turning against it, which is funny because it's happened once before when what president was that who fucking started the food stamp thing? Can't remember off the top of my head, but when they initially proposed the food stamp, like all that stuff, everybody was against it, and it wasn't until they made amends to it to say that people in agriculture and a couple other job types can't get it, and these job types just coincidentally happen to be dominated by Black workers, and like once that addendum was added to it, people were like totally for it, and I think if I can find the statistics on it, like during it was somewhere in the 1960s. Like public support of the welfare system kind of just plummeted. Again, coincidence, I'm sure. I don't know what else happened in the 1960s, but again, coincidence.
The 1960s, so it had to be either Kennedy starting it or Truman finishing it. So I'm a history buff, sorry.
Yeah, there was some kind of movement in the 60s, the late 60s, some kind of like act was signed. And like public support for it just plummeted, and now it's just like people are pretty much. A lot of people are not big fans of social welfare nets at all. So it's just like, but again, coincidence. I'm sure it has nothing to do with race or anything like that. It just so happens to coincide with a certain movement about civil rights that apply to a certain group of people. I'm just saying.
I don't get why people get so fucking mad about the prospect of raising the minimum wage. People need to realize that, I mean, if you're not working at a minimum wage job, those minimum wage jobs are kind of your safety net.
Yeah.
You may not think of it now until shit hits the fan, but if the company you're working for goes under and the economy takes a turn, you're going to be fucking applying at Jack in the Box and shit. and you better hope that they could cover your mortgage. Like, and that's not the worst thing in the world, because like working fast food is a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's a terrible experience, and then you get paid shit. So I know it sucks, and someone has to do it. Can we at least make sure that if they break their leg, they don't die?
Shout out to the Black Lives members who basically left their minimum wage jobs to go protest. Those guys are pretty badass, apparently, because I don't think I could do such like that. So shout out to them.
Yeah, like we talked about on the last time before that episode got destroyed by Time Warner Cable, that Kendrick Lamar, even though he has really leaned into the pro-black image the past few years, it's largely just pro-black man.
Yeah.
Which in and of itself is fine. Like that's dope. But it's just this particular brand of pro-black man also happens to shit on black women almost in equal measure.
Yeah. A lot too. But like, yeah, like when Jesse Williams did that thing, I saw so many dudes on Twitter talking about some Kendrick's been saying that stuff. Like, dude, what? Like, what Kendrick albums are you listening to, fam? Like, Kendrick made the fucking slang thought like mainstream. Like that over there, that was Kendrick. Like, how can you say that Kendrick's saying the same thing as Jesse Williams when he made that a freaking mainstream thing? You know, it's like, no, like they're not saying the same. Kendrick Lamar, yes, Kendrick Lamar, you can argue that Kendrick Lamar is pro-black, and I won't take that away from you because he is very much for black empowerment, but he's for that traditional male-dominated, you know, men lead, women follow, that black patriarchy. And it's like, that shit hurts black women. Like, it hurts them a lot. So it's like, you can't say that him and Jesse are doing the same thing. Like, they're both preaching for, you know, the betterment of black people, but one's preaching for the betterment of black people as a whole, whether you're black woman, black male, black LGBT. One of them is preaching for the betterment of black men to the detriment of the other two. So it's like, they're not the same.
I think that might be a reason why I'm in more support of Beyonce's recent pro-black.
I feel that like women like Beyonce and other ones who are singing from a pro-black woman perspective are going to pull Kendrick over more to being more inclusive in his rhymes, you know, like tone down on calling women bitches, hoes, sluts, thoughts, you know, like start praising us, not just because, you know, we make you feel good sexually, but praising us as people, not objects, you know. And yeah, but I still imagine he'll lose a couple of the, you know, the hoteps who are like, you know, black men, we lead everything and women need to know their place. They should be seen, not heard. But I mean, like, I was talking with this one girl on my Twitter. This was last month, like, so it was been past. Her name was humble_Negrita, and like, she was talking about how she is of the idea that black men were worthless. Like,
Jesus.
No. I took screenshots because it was like so mean. Like, I got offended, and it wasn't even about me. Like, that's how bad it was. She was like, you know, like we're absolute trash. She's like, we're garbage. We're not worth anything. She was like, you know, she doesn't even date us anymore. She only dates Asian and Latino dudes, and she's just like, they know the struggle better than we do. And I was like, okay, I can kind of see that. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be impartial, not get offended. But as she's going on about what we're not doing, I was just like, all right, you're starting to cut me a little bit here. Like, chill. But like, I got in, like, she was getting retweeted back like a lot from my timeline, and I didn't want to give her that, so I didn't retweet her. But like, I hit her up on DMs. It's like, you know, why do you feel that way? Like, what in your life happened to make you think that way? And she's like, it's just the music. How many men, you know, view women as like objects, not people. And she's like, even when women speak up, you know, we get told to shut up because it's not, you know, we don't know what we're talking about, like things like that. And she's like, look at when the Beyonce album came out. She's like, the very first thing that happened was white women were complaining that it wasn't for them, and then all of a sudden, you know, black men were complaining that it was too empowering for black women. And she's like, I'm not messing with that no more. And I was just like, dude, this is crazy. And I'm not gonna lie, I got hella offended. So I made a tweet about her. I didn't mention her though, or I didn't quote her, but it was just a random tweet. You know, it's just like, you know, you're talking all this stuff about you're woke and stuff like that, but you're talking about, you know, your boyfriend says the N-word freely and you don't check him. And it was just so weird, and I felt really horrible. because like a couple of days later, I hit her up again. I was just like, you know, listening to what you were saying, you're absolutely right. Like listening to what you're seeing and seeing seeing my timeline, seeing how the dudes are what they're saying and how they're acting. I was like, you're kind of right in a lot of ways. I was like, I'm not gonna go all the way with you there, you know, because I am still a black man, but I can definitely understand a lot of things that you're saying. I was like, we do need to do better. I definitely agree with that, but I was like, you know, don't completely, you know, write everybody off, like period, like because there are still good black men out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, like she does have a huge point. It's like within, I'd probably say honestly, this is just how I feel. Like, but I think that the black community, we are very unique in the fact that our men, as like for lack of a better word, institution, as I has said, we don't appreciate black women. Like you don't see that within any other community nearly the extent as you see in the black community. You know what I mean? Like I don't really see it that big in the Asian community. Like, I don't ever see like Asian Americans like, or just Asians here like completely just like shitting on Asian women and like praising. I definitely understand it. And it's like, what, you know, I think a lot like, how can I change it? You know, obviously I'm one person. I can't change shit. All I can do is talk to people and say, yo, chill out with what you're saying, how you're saying it, things like that. But it's like more and more, I'm just like really starting to understand women. I'm just like, bruh, we ain't shit, man. And I hate thinking like that. It was like, because I am a black man, but like at the same time, it's like I empathize with with black women so much, and it's like, fuck, you know, like we really are like horrible towards them, and it's just like, and I can't even like say, I can't even use that, you know, what that not all men thing, because it's like it's a shitload of us who are like that. Even the ones who say that they're good, like they're like, if they're like not outright like that, they're very steeped in that black patriarchy, and it's just like, how did we get like this, man? Damn.
Do you want me to edit out her username that you said?
No, she deleted her account. It's gone.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
I've lost quite a few I've lost a few male friends because it's like I'm at the point now in my life I just don't tolerate it at all. It's just like, oh man, like we are grown men at this point. Like we've got no excuse as to how we're treating, you know, black women, because it's like they go to bat for us like beyond themselves. You know, like they put aside their own issues to fight for ours, and it's like, but we can't do the same for them, and it's so fucked up. Like even look at the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Like black women are also killed by the police, but right now it's mainly focused on the black men who are killed by the police. You know, LGBT are killed by the police, but again, it's mainly focused on black men. And the only people who are speaking up for the LGBT and black women are black women and LGBT. You don't see the black men nearly as much speaking up, and it's like, it's so fucked, and it's like, it's frustrating as hell. And like, when like, honestly, it's like, even when I meet women, like I meet women, you know, and it's like, I see somebody who are like literally just like fed up and tired of like all of it. And it's like there's this one girl I'm talking to right now, like she texts me and checks me 24/7 because she thinks that I'm just like all the other dudes. And it's like, I can't get frustrated at her, you know. It's like, even though I want to so bad, because it's like, dude, like I've known you for like 2 months at this point. Like I've literally gone above and beyond, like trying to show you that I'm a good person. But at the very end of the day, I realized that I can't get mad at her, because probably for her, every dude that she has met has had an ulterior motive of just like trying to smash and leave, or basically being an asshole. So it's just like, as mad as I want to get about it, and as frustrating as it is for me as a person who is trying to be, you know, a better person one day at a time, I can't get mad. Honestly, I hate when women call me nice guy. Like, oh god,
you guys are such nice guys, though.
Dude, no, like this one girl called me that. I was like, oh god, no. Like I literally wrote her like almost a paragraph as to why I am not. I was just like, no, no, you understand, dude?
Yeah, it's so backhanded now.
It is, like, because people perverted it, man. It's like you got dudes out there who do things for women just to fuck them, and it's just like, no, that is not what I'm doing with you right now. Damn it, I'm trying to build with you for real, because I really am into you, and I want to like pursue you and actually like build and come together. Like, damn it, just don't call me that, yo. Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm a kind person. I'm never going to ask for anything back. I'm never going to say you owe me for anything. It's like, I don't do things because I expect something in return. I do them because like I just want to do them and just to show you that I care. Like, that's the end of it, you know? So it's just like...
nice guy has become, like, coded language for secret
really
asshole.
Yeah, it really is, man.
Like, that's frustrating to see when there are men who are feminists, who are, like, vocal about it.
Yeah.
And it means something to them. There's always dudes like, oh, they're just, like, brown-nosing to try and get laid.
Dude, oh, man, I should show you my DMs, man. I should show you my DMs. I get so many dudes hating on me. I'm just like, bruh, like, half of these people don't live anywhere near me. What are you talking about? Like, go away. Like, fuck.
I forget which podcast I was listening to, but there was some dude talking about women's issues, and I was straight up just like in agreement with this guy. Like, yeah, he's making a lot of sense. And then, like, in response, the dudes he was talking to, like, you're just saying that so that women will be into you, and so you get close to women. Like, what? I've been with, like, I'm married now, and I've been with this girl for like 11 years.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Like, so, you know, like, it's really kind of like freeing because, like, when I talk to people, I could just engage them as people. Like, I have no interest in anything beyond a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And so for people to try to, like, oh, if you're being nice to this person or if you're, like, being empathetic towards their struggle, you're just trying to get laid. Like, that has not been, like, a motive of mine, and you don't even know how long.
Yeah, like, it really is hard, man. Like, and it's like, people don't understand, like, when you are socially, like, aware, like, you want to date people who are also socially aware. Like, the dating pool shrinks significantly if you're socially aware, like, and it shrinks even more if you're like a male feminist, because, like, unfortunately, a lot of women internalize what it means to be, you know, the preconceived notion of what it means to be a man, you know, and a lot of times male feminists don't fit that view of that rough and tough, masculine, emotionally distant person. Like, it's a pain, but it's like, I would never change it just to get a girl. Like, this is what I really believe in, man. Like, bro, like, I was raised by a black woman. My sister helped raise me. It's like, dude, like, if I don't speak on their behalf, who the fuck will, you know? I just want people to treat especially the black women, to be treated the way they should be, you know? Like, because when I was a kid, like, I used to see how black men were treating my mom, and it's like, yo, I don't want to be like that. So it's like, that's what changed me, is like, that. And it's just like, I apply that to every black woman, like, every woman, period, that I speak to, whether she's black or not. Just like, I just want to, like, I'm treating you as my actual equal, not like I'm a male, you're a female, you're below me, but you're my actual equal, you know? So it's just like, I don't understand why that shit's so hard for people to do, but apparently it is.
That's a hilarious byproduct of how messed up our society is.
It is.
that a woman can't be aggressive traditionally without being seen as a whore or a slut.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so now the onus is on guys, but no, we're at this point where there are a lot of men who empathize with women, like, oh, she probably gets hit on all the time. She doesn't want to hear
right
from
there,
me.
bro.
Yeah, so it's like there's this terrible fucking, like, perfect storm of dudes who don't want to bother women, and then these women who are told by society that they better not express their sexuality in any sort of way, or they're evil.
Yeah, and then you got that part where it's like, well, he's not showing any interest in me. I don't know if he likes me. And it's like, no, I actually do, but it's like, I don't want to fill up on you because I don't want you thinking that I just want to have sex with you. So it's just like, fuck, this is the worst ever. Yeah, that's me. Honestly, I'm at the point now I don't approach any woman. Like, I'll chill by myself. Like, I go to a library, I go to Starbucks, and I just don't talk to any woman. Like, I'll make eye contact, and, like, nod my head and just do my thing. But it works out for me because a lot of times women come and start talking to me, I'm just like, it seems to be working for me.
If you have anything to add, or if thought we're off base on anything, you want to share a story or anything, you could send us an email. We're sowellspoken@gmail.com. We are SWS Podcast on Twitter.
Bevel.
And Bevel. Send us that check. We didn't get this month's check.
Yeah, a little behind.
I went and checked the mail.
My rent is due, fam. Let's go.
We don't want to send you an invoice for these late fees, but we will.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'll see you guys next time.
All right.